Last month, Dave and I demonstrated the elevated linked radio system he designed for his portable vertical antenna. Since then, I have received many inquiries on how to build one yourself, but little did we know that such an antenna already exists and it's superior to Dave's design. Well, today, I'm going to take you through making the POTA PERformer antenna. So here's the story. Dave, KZ9V, has been playing around with a linked elevated vertical for a couple of months. He was getting great results with the single elevated counterpoise, and his linking system consisted of approximately a 17-foot piece of wire with links or breaks for each of the amateur HF band intervals, so that you could have a resonant counterpoise for 10, 12, 15, 17, and 20 meters. Combine that with the 17-foot vertical whip, like the Chameleon SS17, he had devised an easy-to-deploy resonant vertical antenna system for the upper HF bands. We did a video on this system, and you can check it out down in the description below. But unaware to him, Greg Mirren, KJ6ER, had come up with a similar counterpoise system for his vertical antenna. He was also using the 17-foot collapsible whip, but individual counterpoise wires for each band. So if you wanted to move from, say, 15 to 20 meters, you'd remove the 15-meter counterpoise and replace it with a tuned counterpoise for 20 meters. His system, dubbed the POTA PERformer, is a proven, efficient vertical antenna system and is documented in a file that he freely distributes online. Again, links are down below if you want to check them out. So here's the fun part. After seeing the elegance of Dave's linking system for the counterpoise wires, Greg reworked his plans, and now the POTA PERformer antenna uses a linked counterpoise for even easier deployment. Initially, I was going to show you how to build a Dave's counterpoise system, but after seeing how thorough Greg's instructions are, we're going to switch to his and build and demonstrate the POTA PERformer antenna. So what is the POTA PERformer antenna? Well, the POTA PERformer is a portable elevated resonant antenna. It's a vertical antenna from 40 through 6 meters, sitting on an elevated tripod or support with the feed point about 5 feet off the ground and 2 elevated tuned radials. It's billed as a fantastic portable antenna, easy to pack, fast to deploy, very effective and highly efficient. And after using this antenna system extensively for the last week, I can attest to these claims. What makes this antenna effective is when using the 2 elevated tuned radials 90 degrees apart, it provides some directionality, which results in a front-to-back ratio of 4 to 6 dB or up to 2 S units. If you want omnidirectional pattern, you can place these radials 180 degrees apart. Now, when we talk about HF vertical antennas, there's 2 methods of deployment: ground mounting and elevated. Ground mounting the antenna is fast and easy. You use a low base or spike and set the antenna up, and then spread out non-resonant radials or a screen like the Magic Carpet for your ground network. This system is super fast and works well, but there are ground losses and inconsistencies with the earth that will affect your performance. It's commonly understood that if you elevate your vertical and use a resonant elevated counterpoise, you limit your ground losses and eliminate the earth inconsistency variables. This has been demonstrated numerous times, and I'm going to include a QST article down below that you can read for more information. Now, the POTA PERformer exploits the benefit of elevated radials for this reason. While you can use a single radial as a counterpoise, like Dave did in his design, Greg goes one step further by adding the second one. Through extensive modeling and field testing, he found that 2 radials offered the best trade-off of performance versus simplicity. And antenna modeling had found that the POTA PERformer has a maximum gain of 0.4 dB at 25 degrees off the horizon And if the radials are configured to be 90 degrees apart, you'll receive a front to back ratio gain of about 4 to 6 dB, which will help you pick out those weak signals by increasing your signal to noise ratio and nulling out some of that noise. Now, what do you need to build one of the POTA PERformers? If you're already using a ground mounted and a vertical antenna, you probably have most of the parts you need. First off, you're going to need an elevated tripod or base. I'm using an old photographic tripod, but you can use a light stand, DJ speaker stand, or build your own. In Greg's document, he shows you how to build a base out of PVC. I'm using my mirror jaw clamp to attach to the antenna to the tripod, and then attaching the telescoping whip. This is the Chameleon SS17 stainless steel whip, but other 17-foot or 213-inch whips will also work. From that point, we've got a short coax jumper running to a line isolator or a coax choke. This is a necessary component, and it eliminates the using the coax as a radiator, making your radials more effective. Another section of coax is going to run to the transceiver itself. From there, we'll need some supports, and I'm using 2 4-foot plastic fence posts. You can use fiberglass driveway markers, whatever's available to you. The fence posts you'll find at a farm and ranch store like Tractor Supply Company or something like that. And then finally, we have the radials themselves. And this is 17 feet of wire with the brakes at the appropriate spot, and then with little spade connectors to create that linked system. And that's the part I'm going to show you how to build next. I'm going to take you through the construction of the radials for the POTA PERformer antenna. Your overall length for this 20-meter band is going to be approximately 198 inches, or just about 17 feet. In the instructions from KJ6ER, there's a great diagram that shows the breakpoints and the lengths for each section. So let's talk about what we're going to need to build this antenna. First off, we're going to need wire. I'm using 20 gauge silicon wire. This is BN TechGo. This orange is the color I've chosen. You can use any wire gauge 18 to about 22 gauge. Don't go thinner than that. It gets really hard to work with. So I think 18 or 20 gauge is probably the best. Pick a bright color that's gonna stand out because you're gonna want that in the field. Now on the endpoints, we're gonna use these 10 amp charging clips. These are called Mueller clips. They come 4 to a package, so one package will do your two radials. I already used 2, and we're going to use the second 2 for this radial. And then for the breakpoints, you'll need some kind of a blade or a spade connector. You can use these little bullet connectors. These you can find these in the electrical department of home supply store, 16 to 22 gauge. These work. You'll probably, for a set of 2 ground radials, you'll need 2 packages of, or you can use the blade connectors. I just got this humongous terminal assortment box that I picked up at Harbor Freight ages ago, and you could go with these little, one style or the other. I don't think it really makes a difference between spade or blade, or spade or bullet. They both work fine. And then finally, you're going to do what's called the endpoint pigtail. This is just a little 2-inch piece of insulating material. And normally, if you're on the 20-meter bands, it's going to sit at the end of the counterpoise. But if you're going to use one of any other higher bands, you'll move that little pigtail in between the breakpoints, and that just that's your insulator that breaks the connection but keeps the contiguous length of the radial intact. Greg is using paracord. I'm using a string trimmer line. I find this, I've used this in a couple other antenna projects. It works really well. And it's stiffer, but it's just as lightweight as paracord, so it's relatively easy to work with. Start off by measuring the wire. If you look at the chart, we're gonna start from the Mueller clip with 41.5 inches. So we're just gonna measure 40. That bit was off camera, but you get the idea. I don't trust these little screws, so I always put down a dab of solder. But then for the rest, we just get to the end. Strip, and I go female, and then where's my crimping tool? Oops, find the right side here. There we go. Next piece of wire, 34 inches. The feed point, the 41.5 will do for the 6 meter band. So we're going to add the 10 meter band. So we go 34. That's the next one. Cut. Strip. Male end. Crimp. Connect. Continue on down the line. Now the final part of this antenna is to make our little our little insulating piece, and like I said, I'm going to use some string trimmer line. It works well for me. 2 inches of that, and I found that the line that I'm using is a little bit thicker. It doesn't fit in these little red 20 gauge terminals, so I'm going to use a little bit larger 16 gauge here. You can also shave them down, the string. I've tried that too. That works. Okay. And then if you're using this on these radials on a 20 meter band, this little insulator will just sit at the end of this pigtail here. So we'll just clip it in place. And if we want to use any other band, what we do is we just take this little inline pigtail out and then move it to the next band. So, and that breaks the line, or the radial, for your appropriate links, but still maintains the overall length integrity of the counterpoise. So, all right, let's put this thing on the air. This is KB9 VBR, Parks on the Air, QRZ.
Kilo Oscar 4, Sierra X-Ray Hotel.
Kilo Oscar 4, Sierra X-Ray Hotel, a nice 5-9 into Wisconsin, US 1447. Back to you.
5-9 is well into Asheville, November, Charlie Mike. Thanks for the activation, 73.
All right, hey, thanks again for North Carolina. You have a great day, 7-3. This is KB9 VBR, Parks on the Air, QRZ.
Kilo Oscar 4, Golf Bravo Bravo.
Kilo Oscar 4, Golf Bravo Bravo. Got you, 5-5, Wisconsin, US 1447. Back to you.
Hey, what's up, Mike? Got you about a 5-5 in Middle Georgia, but you're getting blown out by some QRM, by the way.
All right, hey, thanks for Middle Georgia. Yeah, you know, you think you find a quiet spot on the band, and then all of a sudden, yeah, the adjacent channels roll in.
Well, good luck out there, man. Love your channel. Thank you for being out there. 7-3.
Hey, thanks a lot. You too. You have a great day in 7-3. This is KB9 VBR, Parks on the Air, QRZ.
WP2CAO. Juliet Romeo. November 0, Oscar, Zulu Zulu. This is Kilo November 4, Tango, Papa, Quebec. Copy.
There we go. Kilo November 4, Tango, Papa, Quebec. Got you now. 5-7, Wisconsin, US 1447. Back to you.
Roger, got the U57 here, Lee, Tennessee. Is this Michael?
Yes, it is. It's the one and only.
Michael, I watched some of your YouTube videos, brother.
All right. Hey, I'm glad you enjoy them and find them interesting.
Yeah, I pulled you up on QRZ and I said, I know that feller.
Yeah, a face that belongs on radio. Yeah, I heard the Kilo 7 Sierra Echo November.
Hi, Michael. You're 5-9 again in Arizona.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot for Arizona. Yeah, you're solid 5-9 here, Wisconsin, US 1447. Back to you.
Oh, thanks a bunch. Appreciate it, Dan. Yeah, you do great stuff on the video. 7-3, have fun.
Hey, it's always a pleasure to get you in the log. You have a great day in 7-3.
Kilo 4, Kilo Bravo, India.
Okay, I heard a couple park-to-park stations. Six meters, 10 meters, 12 meters, 15 meters. Kilo Bravo 9er Victor Bravo Romeo calling CQ for Parks on the Air.
Kilo Juliet 7 Oscar X-ray.
Kilo Juliet 7 Oscar X-ray. Band is quiet, but your 3-3 sounds like a 5-1 in Wisconsin here. US 1447. Back to you.
5-9 is well into Asheville, November, Charlie Mike. 5-9 is well into Asheville, November. 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 5-9 is well into Ash Okay, pardon the slight delay there, just jotting it down. So US 1447. Very fine. My name is Brian, Bravo Radio India Alpha November. Brian. I'm located in Longview, Washington, near the Columbia River, about an hour from the Pacific coast.
So now you're probably wondering, well, how do you get 40 meters with this antenna system? Because the radials are only cut for the 20 meter band and above. Well, this is the really cool trick with the POTA PERformer. So what you do is you get yourself one of these 40 meter coils like the Wolf River Sporty 40. We put that in line with our 17-foot whip. So it's going to go right here. And now we've got two radials here. We're going to disconnect one of them, and we're going to move our support out an additional 17 feet from the middle support, and we're going to connect these two radials in series so we have one approximately 33-foot radial. Now we've got a, with the coil for 40 meters and 33 or so feet of elevated tuned radial, we now all of a sudden have a 40 meter antenna. And you might ask, does it work? Well, I'm glad to say it certainly does. CQ, Parks on the Air, CQ Parks on the Air, KB9 VBR, Kilo Bravo 9er, Victor Bravo Romeo, calling CQ for Parks on the Air.
Kilo Charlie 9, Yankee Delta Victor.
Kilo Charlie 9, Yankee Delta Victor, good afternoon, 59 Wisconsin, US 10054.
Yeah, QSL UR59, Northeast Illinois.
All righty, thanks for Northeast Illinois today. You have a great day.
All right, thanks for being out there.
Roger that. Take it easy, 73.
73.
This is KB9 VBR, Parks on the Air, QRZ.
Kilo 0 Oscar Echo.
Kilo 0 Oscar Echo 59 Wisconsin, US 10054. Back to you.
Thanks for 59 to Park. You're 59 Minnesota. Thanks for the activation.
All righty, thanks for Minnesota today. You have a great day, 73.
73.
KB9 VBR, Parks on the Air, QRZ.
Park to Park, Alpha Charlie 9er, Bravo Juliet, Park to Park.
Alpha Charlie 9er, Bravo Juliet, good afternoon. Gotcha, 57 Wisconsin. 2 parks for you, US 10054 and US 4238. Back to you.
Roger, 10054 and 4238. Thank you for the 57 Whiskey India. You're 54 Whiskey India, Uniform Sierra 1476.
Roger, the 1476, Rocky Arbor State Park. Was there a couple months ago. How do you like it?
It's pretty nice. I'm on the top by the playground. It's really lovely up here. How's your park?
It's a warm day, sunny skies, but no bugs, so I'm happy.
Yeah, we got the mosquitoes and the heat over here, so I'm grateful for the shade. Anyway, good luck with activation. Have fun. Nice to get to log again. AC9BJ.
Always a pleasure. You have a great activation today. This is KB9 VBR, Parks on the Air, QRZ.
November 8, Tango Sierra Uniform.
So what are my thoughts on the POTA PERformer antenna? Well, the only thing I can say is this is truly amazing. I've put it on the air over the last week, had 3 individual Parks on the Air activations with it, and of those 3 activations netted over well over 200 contacts, so closer to 250 contacts, I think, if I look at the logs, on a variety of bands. Ideally, you know, my initial test is I wanted to get contacts on at least 20 and 15 meters, and the antenna definitely, you know, the radial system definitely delivered on that. And you know, if you wanted to favor a certain direction, you know, say if I wanted to try to favor European stations, I could point this 90-degree vertex, you know, towards the east for me. If I wanted to favor the West Coast, I could point this 90-degree vertex to the west of me and try to favor the West Coast stations. And you know, for the most part, that actually did the trick. I was on the air 20 meters and I was able to pull in West Coast stations with probably better signals than I have usually heard them coming into the upper Midwest where I live. So from that regard, it works. the claims are definitely true, and it is definitely the POTA PERformer. Setup and teardown is relatively easy. I think, you know, with the linking system, it takes out a lot of the guesswork with the radios, and that's the biggest problem people have with elevated radio systems, is how to get those counterpoises just set at the right spot, especially if you're working with two. You know, if you're working with a single counterpoise, it's not so bad. If you're working with two, then you feel like you're always sort of going back and forth between one or the other. I found the easiest thing to do is just sort of set the counterpoises for the bands in which you wish, the band in which you wish to operate, and then extend the whip to its appropriate length as a resonant radiator. And then I just use the antenna analyzer to sort of dial that in for the lowest SWR. Band changes were easy, you know, relatively easy and fast. It was easy to put that little separator, you know, between the bands once you got everything set up between the band breaks there. So I had no problem doing that. Teardown too was good. A little bit longer, you know, set up and tear down took a little bit longer than the ground-mounted radio with the magic carpet, or ground-mounted vertical with the magic carpet. So, you know, there is that. If speed is your #1 end game, you know, then this is probably not it. The only other problem I have is the amount of real estate it takes up. Now you can see that we've got a 17 by 17, in effect, a 17 by 17 foot square that we've created, and this elevated radio creates a barrier. If the radios were ground mount, you know, laying on the ground, it would be, you know, less of an impact if people were traveling through. But if they're walking through your activation area, you know, now you've created a hazard. So consider that. So thank you to Dave KZ9V for the inspiration of using a tuned elevated counterpoise for the vertical antenna. And thank you so much to Greg KJ6ER for your plans on building the POTA PERformer antenna. They are, like I said, they're thorough, they're complete, they're you know, it works. So if you're looking to build one of these yourself, get those plans from Greg and go ahead and get the POTA PERformer out on the air. So with that, I'm Michael, KB9VBR. You have a great day, and 7-3.